What's up, Yu-Gi Tubers? This is vi3t here with you to talk about my special playmats and to talk about Hidden Arsenal 7. So first off, is on top is my Battle Spirits playmat of a beautiful fairy angel thing that I've had with me for quite a few years now, and it's one of my favorite mats only because it's so beautiful and very classy also. And it reminds me a lot of High Priestess, or at least High Priestess reminds me a lot of this girl. And then next is my charity Win-A-Mat. I'm not sure if I told people this, but I won this at YCS Providence last year, 2012. And I actually beat Paul Leviton round 1, and then I beat a wind-up deck and in the finals to win this playmat. So I'm very happy with my results. Next, I actually opened 2 boxes of Hidden Arsenal 7 already. I'm planning to open 2 more boxes just to hopefully get my 2 Daigusto Emerald that I really need to maybe play the fun Sam's loop. If you haven't heard about it, I'll post up a video about the crazy Sam's loop that is now available because Daigusto Emerald is released. I do want to say I actually bought 4 cases of Hidden Arsenal 7 at wholesale prices. I sold 1 case to my local players, and I opened 4 boxes for myself. So I have another case that I'm planning to put online for sale. So feel free to check out the following links in the video if you're interested in purchasing a box. I'm selling it for $80 per box only because most of the product is sold out right now, and it is extremely popular. And Evil Swarms is surprisingly meeting the hype, in my opinion. So I'll make a video about how to play Evil Swarms and what the deck build options are that are most consistent. I pulled 1 Daigusto Emerald and 1 Lavalval Chain. I need another Daigusto Emerald because 2 Daigusto Emerald actually, with the Sam's combo, recycles all of your Xyzes. So I'd love to have 2. Lavalval Chain and Daigusto Emerald are actually the best generic rank 4s in the Hidden Arsenal set. That's because Daigusto Emerald actually fits into any and every deck that uses a lot of monsters, and because it recycles, lets you draw a card. Or if you use it in Evil Swarms, you can actually special summon Evil Swarm Heliotrope, and you can also recycle Evil Swarm Heliotrope back into the deck in order to have your second rabbit still be live. Lavalval Chain is just a great card to access any card in your deck, either by putting it into the grave or putting it on top of your deck. If you're struggling and you happen to top deck a rabbit or have a way to go into a rank 4, but you know it's not going to give you the game, but you have a way to survive another turn, you can put a BLS on top of your deck if you're playing Chaos. If you're playing Lightsworn, put Judgment Dragon on top of your deck. If you're playing Infernities, you can actually send the combos all over the place actually with Infernities. So with Lavalval Chain in Infernities, it makes the deck really good again because it's much more consistent. Although I disagree with a lot of players going with the Xyz version, I feel that if you're playing Lavalval Chain, you can actually play the Synchro version even more efficiently. And I'm working on a way to play it more, only because I'm not an Infernity player, but I'm interested in the power of Infernities to generate powerful Synchros. And I think Lavalval Chain is still a good fit for that kind of combo. So let me go through all the tough stuff in Hidden Arsenal 7, the stuff that's not worth much, and that is actually, some of it's pretty terrible. Tin Archduke is absolutely terrible. 3 level 4s, and all it does is flip monsters, change their battle positions, and negate flip effects. So that's a terrible secret. Gishki Zeal Gygus is really underrated. I'm very excited to see it. I'm very excited to play the Gishki deck. So Gishki Zeal Gygus, although it's worth low right now, it's still a very good card. If you're interested in playing a Gishki version that OTKs a lot, all you need is a Gustav Max and run a deck that can get Gishki Zeal Gygus out quickly. Levi Anima is okay. It's a nice draw, 8-star ritual monster for Gishki. So it adds a little bit of extra draw power, and it's also a good target for trade-in if you play the trade-in build with it. Molten Conduction Field, this actually powers up Lavals quite a bit. It's only going for around $2 to $4 right now, but it is amazing, especially if the Laval player holds their rekindlings for the final moment. I actually got destroyed last night by a Laval deck that played Breakthrough Skill and had the 3 conduction fields. Iron Call is a hit or miss depending on your playing style. It special summons a level 4 machine type from your graveyard and negates their effects, so it's good for an extra monster for Exceed summoning, but it depends on preference. I don't know too much about the Gem Knights. I don't particularly care for the Gem Knight fusions and combo only because it's over my head. It's a little too much for me. This is a terrible Constellar. It's nice that when this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Constellar monster from your deck or hand, but it's really not worth the extra special summon. So unless you run a dedicated build of the rank 5 Constellars, which isn't all that consistent because of the dead draws that you'll often have. 10 Goldfish, I actually only pulled 1 tin Goldfish from my first box, and then I pulled a second one. I pulled 2 from my second box. So it's only 1 or 2 per box right now, so it's pretty hard to find. That's why it's a $5 to $8 card, and the dual terminal version is actually going for $10 to $15 still. Then you have Gem Knight Lazuli, which actually powers up the Gem Knight deck if you know how to use it. Gear Spring Spirit, I think, is an amazing 8-star machine monster that its only problem is that it's not searchable by machine or gear frame. If it was searchable by gear frame, you'd be able, it'd be amazing in the deck. But as of right now, it's kind of like Grand Mole for machines, except it destroys and not returns to the hand. DD Star Sparrow is terrible. Sophia, the Goddess of Rebirth, can be a good card, but it's more of a fun card than it is competitive. And it works best in Gishki. Now on to the theme decks. So you'll see the Evil Swarms, Evil Swarm Heliotrope, Evil Swarm Ophion, the game winner for Evil Swarm that prevents level 5 monsters from being special summoned for both you and your opponent. Ouroboros is a good rank 4, generic rank 4 on top of that, but it's not as powerful as its, I guess, good version, as the original Trishula. Only because it can only activate 1 effect per turn, and that is either target 1 card your opponent controls, return that to the hand, send a card from your opponent's hand to the grave, or target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard and banish that target. So Ouroboros is not as great as it used to be. Bahamut is mainly, I feel, works best in the mirror match. So Bahamut, you can use it to steal your opponent's Evil Swarm Ophion. Thanatos is, although it has a good effect where this face-up card is unaffected by other monster effects this turn, its lackluster attack of 2350 doesn't keep it on the field. So it's terrible. Evil Swarm Thunderbird is a must for the Evil Swarm deck. The potential to go to 1950 attack and run over those Thunder Kings is great. Plus the chain ability to keep it on the field. You have to remember you can't use Evil Swarm Thunderbird's effect during the damage step. Infestation Pandemic is the lance for all Evil Swarm monsters. So this is a must-have in the deck. Most people run 2 because it's more consistent, but I believe that you can run 3 depending on what your build is. Infestation Infection, it's a secret for a reason, and I believe it actually is a very good card in the Evil Swarm deck to run at least 1 of, and I'll talk more about that when I talk about the Evil Swarm deck overall. Mandragora is also another must in the deck only because it special summons itself. Evil Swarm Caster is a must in the deck because it allows an extra normal summon. So if you're running a more pure Evil Swarm build, you have to have at least 3 copies of Caster, 3 copies of Thunderbird, and 2 to 3 copies of Mandragora. Next is the Constellars. So Constellars, to me, is really amazing. It's one of the few light archetypes that I actually like. So Constellar Ptolemy M7 has the most broken and most useful effect in that it can detach and return any monster on the field or in the graveyard to your hand. The only problem with M7 is that you can only activate it during your turn, And if you overlay it through putting it on top of another Constellar monster, you can't use this effect that turn. So it's useful when you're overlaying it over your weaker Constellars and just pretty much putting a big 2700 attack monster on the board, but you can't use this effect until the next turn comes around, which makes it a little bit tougher to get your full value out of it. Pleiades is probably the best rank 5 for light monsters, and only because it can return a card on the field to the owner's hand during either player's turn. Pretty much any time you can chain it in any way you want. So you have to be very vigilant in watching for when you should chain, and be very careful in deciding if you use this effect or not. Constellar Hades is the rank 3. Constellar Precept is the beater that pumps up Constellar's attack by 1,000. So he pretty much helps you OTK, or at least win a lot faster and run over bigger monsters. Constellar Hades is, to me, I don't like Constellar Hades, only because there's a lot better rank 3s, but it's a 1900 beater that changes all of your opponent's monsters to the face-up defense position. So it can have its uses, but for the most part, you want to stick with the other Constellars. And I believe there is another new Constellar rank 3 that's coming out that hasn't made it to the TCG yet, but will be coming out in Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. I'll look more into that. Constellar Chaos is one of the best cards for in the deck to get off the combo, because it can pump itself up to level 6 or pump itself and another Constellar to level 5 and make summoning your Constellars that much more easier. Sheraton is the search card for other Constellar monsters. My problem with it is that it's a level 3. I feel like the deck works best when it's accessing its rank 4s and rank 5s, not the rank 3s. Pollux is the normal summon, extra normal summon. When it's summoned, Algiady lets you special summon from your hand, so you can actually go into a rank 4 that needs 3 level 4s quite easily in Constellars. Siat is actually, I believe, an underrated card. It's kind of like a Cyber Dragon for the deck, but what it does is it copies levels either in the grave or on the field. So it combos well with Chaos, combos well with the other Constellars to go into a rank 4. And it's Constellar Star Chart. I also believe this is an underrated card. It's the draw card for the deck. Every time you exceed summon a Constellar monster, you draw a card. So there's a combo where you can go into Pleiades and draw a card. You use Pleiades to return Star Chart to your hand, and then activate Star Chart again, overlay for M7, and draw a second card. Constellar Star Chart only lets you draw 1 card per turn. Star Cradle, similar to, I believe, the Heraldic decks. Constellar Star Cradle skips your battle phase and lets you add 2 Constellar monsters to your hand. So skipping your battle phase isn't all that bad if it's early game and you know you're not going to win. This helps you set up. Leonis is the normal summon that lets you gain an additional normal summon, and he's a rank level 3 instead of level 4. So he's basically a copy of Pollux, except mainly used for rank 3s. And I included 1 Rasselhag, because Rasselhag, you can tribute it and special summon a Constellar from your grave. So if you're running the level 5 version, Rasselhag is really useful. Otherwise, it's good that it gives you access to your Constellars in your grave, but it depends on the playing style of the player. So in my opinion, it's not much better than maybe a 1 or none. So these are my pulls so far from Hidden Arsenal 7. You've got a chance to kind of hear my opinion on most of the secrets and the cards. I'm pretty sure I pulled 1 of every single secret through my 2 boxes. So it was pretty good. Other people actually pulled better than I did. The most expensive card right now is Evil Swarm Ophion, and the 2 second most expensive cards are Laval Chain and Daiguso Emerald. They're both going for 20 right now, but I believe they will shoot back up once people start using them. And they're likely to reach their DT prices. DT prices for Laval Chain and Daiguso Emerald right now are 40 each. So although the secret version is going for 20 each right now, I expect it to be very similar to Trishula, where it'll reach the 30 to 40 range, if not 70 to 80, only because they are extra deck cards and they're generic. Next, I'm going to open up my 2 boxes of Hidden Arsenal 7, and I'll give you a review of what I pull in the order that I pulled it in.